Aftermath of the tsunami in Severokurilsk, 1952. German prisoners of war, 1945. British soldiers suppress a rebellion in Kenya, 1955. Walking the Mummies, Italy, 1950. Representatives of Native American tribes, Navajo, Papago, Apache, and Hopi, sign a document renouncing the use of the traditional symbol of luck and happiness, the swastika, in clothing and jewelry, Arizona, 1940. A communication device between a driver and passenger, 1970s. Burning oil refineries during the Iran-Iraq War, 1980. The death wall in Rajkot, India, 1970s. Luftwaffe. Obergefreiter hides his face in shame after surrendering, Belgium, 1945. A 23-year-old man who switched from the communists to the side of the South Vietnamese government was captured by the communists and spent a month in a concentration camp where he was deliberately starved. Photo of total solar eclipse on July 11, 1991, Chiapas, Mexico. This photograph, taken in 1936, became a symbol of the Great Depression in popular culture. A poignant Victorian-era photo of a sleeping baby in the arms of its mother, who died during childbirth. Myrtle Corbin, a girl born in 1868 with a doubled pelvis and 4 legs. Myrtle spent her whole life in the circus, but later married a doctor and gave birth to 5 children. She lived to be 60. French Catholic clergy in Dijon burning an effigy of Santa Claus in front of children in protest against the pagan Christmas, 1951. Children, prisoners of Auschwitz concentration camp, show their camp numbers tattooed on their arms, Poland, 1945. A prisoner from the American Sing Sing prison undergoes Chinese water torture, 1860. A mother shows a photograph of her son to a returning prisoner of war trying to find him, Austria, 1947. Stalin and Hitler might have met in Austria long before their political careers. In 1913, while in Vienna, the fugitive revolutionary Stalin loved to stroll the streets where the young artist Hitler was selling his paintings. Moroccan Police Commissioner Mustafa Tabet, at his 1993 trial, accused of raping hundreds of women in the country's worst police corruption scandal. A U.S. confectionery company stored its molasses in an enormous tank in Boston and severely skimped on maintenance. This led to an explosion, and 9 million liters of molten syrup swept over the city. People, horses, and cars were stuck fast in the molasses, and not everyone could be saved. Love, Los Angeles, USA, 1959. The population hides in a swamp during the Vietnam War. An annual horrifying festival takes place in the city of Yulin in June. The Chinese eat up to 15,000 dogs. The overall statistics are even more frightening. 4 million cats are eaten annually in China. A Red Cross nurse records the last words of a British soldier, World War I, 19-17. November 11, 1989. West Berliners watch people tearing down a section of the Berlin Wall to open a new border crossing. A 2-headed dog, created by Russian scientist Vladimir Demikov in 1954, threw the transplantation of one dog's head onto another. The dog lived for 1 month. What athletes of the 19th and 20th centuries looked like? Japanese gangsters, Yakuza, 1960. Japanese children at a farewell ceremony before being evacuated from the city to the countryside due to U.S. air raids, Tokyo, 1945. Sword Swallower, 1928. an X-ray of the sword swallower, one of the most unique photos of that period. The photograph shows a man examining nuclear lava, known as Chernobyl's elephant's foot. Being near it guaranteed death from radiation. In 1931, the Bulu tribe of Cameroon, upon learning of the Great Depression in the U.S., raised $3.77 to help starving American families. It is their desire to help that is noteworthy, not the meager sum. A Prison in Panama, A Net Over an Abyss, 1920. Protest Against Prohibition, USA, 1932. How Witnesses Used to Testify Against the Mafia, 1969. Maria Goes to Bed, one of the very first pornographic films in the history of world cinema. The film was shot in Paris in 1896. This amazing photo shows an electric taxi car driving through the streets of New York in 1898, 110 years before Elon Musk's Tesla. The final moments of a kamikaze dive on the aircraft carrier Lexington, 1944. The feeling when the Statue of Liberty stands in your backyard, USA, 1930. An automated robot imitating human speech, USA, 1845. Glimpse into Afghanistan's infrastructure and culture, mid-20th century. Albert Einstein's desk, photographed just hours after his death, 1955. Japanese kamikaze pilots before their final flights, 1945. U.S. Navy medic listens to the ground with a stethoscope to detect Viet Cong tunnels, Vietnam, 1968. Filming Titanic, 1997. Early stage of a beauty contest evaluating contestants' figures, USA, late 1940s. Hamas militants in the residence of Palestinian President Mahmoud Abbas after its capture, June 15, 2007. Wedding rings found by American soldiers, Germany, Buchenwald, 1945. An Aleut dressed in a sea lion skin, Alaska, 1900. 21 Sikh Indians fought against 10,000 Afghans at the Battle of Sarigari on September 12, 1897. They all died, but the casualties among the Afghans exceeded 600. The killing of frail children was not only common in Sparta. If a woman gave birth to a deformed child in ancient Greece, she would kill it. In Rome, this was mandated by law. Confederate Army Captain Samuel Richardson in fashionable pants, 1860s. Dinner in the luxurious dining hall of the Hindenburg airship, 1938. A World War I veteran begs for alms on a Berlin street, 1923. Brunettes boycotting the film Gentlemen Prefer Blondes, 1953. The Primwaddle twins. When the husband found out his wife gave birth to twins, he was horrified and left the family. After this betrayal, Mrs. Primwaddle hated men, but unfortunately the twins were boys. She decided to act as though her boys were girls. The children believed they were girls until the age of 19. Upon learning the truth, they decided they would not tolerate it anymore. They strangled their mother with a scarf and gouged out her eyes. The fashionable vice of the Victorian era, opium addiction, which began in China. The English facilitated this trade, preferring to pay with opium instead of silver for tea. Photo from 1865. A wedding in a church destroyed by German shells. London, 1941. France C, 1945. Boys staring through a bakery window at trays of fresh pastries and bread. The caning of a negligent student, a common occurrence for those times. Wisconsin, USA, 1905. Removing from friends in the 20th century, many who fell out with friends or relatives would cut their faces out of photos. The explosion of a boiler in a steam locomotive, one of the many scourges of the 19th century. Despite strict regulations for boiler safety and maintenance, they exploded frequently, making the machinist's job not only hard, but also dangerous. Illegal abortions remained a reality in the USA until the early 1970s, when the procedure was considered murder. However, many doctors continued to perform this procedure underground. The owner of the abortion clinic in the photo would be tried for murder. Jews arrested after Kristallnacht, brought to the German concentration camp Buchenwald, 1938. In the 20th century in Sweden, young women were forcibly sterilized as part of a program to ensure the purity of the nation. Violations of ethical norms included disobedience, mental disability, low intelligence, and birth from mixed marriages. The removal of the bodies of Adolf Hitler and Eva Braun from the bunker, 1945. People trying to board a plane during the evacuation of American troops, South Vietnam, 1975. A Turk washes his feet for his final prayer, while Bulgarian soldiers prepare a gallows for him, 1913. November 1966. Stagnant air trapped toxic smog over New York City for 3 days, killing 168 people. F. Scott Fitzgerald wrote only when drunk, creating up to 8,000 words after leaving a bar. Sober, he lost productivity. A man from Ukraine killed and ate his brother during a period of severe famine. Civil War period, Russia, 1921. The execution of a thief in Persia, early 20th century. This is not a statue, but a person undergoing an elaborate execution. He was tied up, a wall was built around him from raw bricks, and the form was then filled with lime. 6 hours later, the unfortunate was still alive and a shooting followed. According to the caption, the crime was the theft of 2 cucumbers. Staff of the Disney Film Company during their lunch break, 1961. A mother reunites with her daughter after 7 months of service in Iraq. For 5 years, a prisoner in Brazil dug a tunnel to escape, but it led right into the guard room. Joe Reed's Guinness World Record jump, 1998. The stuntman jumped between buildings on a motorcycle with a 250 cubic inch engine. The distance between the buildings was 65 feet. Reed jumped to a height of 116 feet. Prisoners of the Herero and Nama during the genocide in the early 20th century. New York, 1954. American soldiers are shown one of the methods of execution in the German concentration camp Buchenwald, 1945. The son of a poor farmer graduated from university. His father worked in the fields for 4 years to pay for his son's education. A soldier's knees give way when popular actress Linda Darnell invites him to dance, 1940s. Ancient Roman tokens used for paying prostitutes. Canadian Prime Minister Pierre Elliott Trudeau carries his future successor Justin Trudeau under his arm. Ottawa, 1973. Pacific Islanders examine a F-4U aircraft. Initially, the military was mistaken for gods, 1943. Workers lay a wooden water pipe east of Lewiston, Idaho, 1891. In case of war, evacuate children, cover the windows, kill the cat, 1939, United Kingdom. In September 1939, within a week of the declaration of war, over 750,000 pets were killed in the UK. The reason was simple: there would be no food to feed them. This pensioner dreamed of jumping off Niagara Falls in a barrel her entire youth, and in 1901, at the age of 63, she fulfilled her dream. Special Anti-Gas Cribs for Infants, England, 1942. Torgau, 1945. Soviet and American troops meet and hug near the ruined bridge across the Elbe. Their smiles are genuine, yet they mask 4 years of shared conflict: Stalingrad and Normandy, the siege of Leningrad, and Pearl Harbor. A newspaper seller selling the latest edition, 1939. A copper mask for a war participant, created in an era when plastic surgery was not yet known, 1918. The swastika on the headquarters of the Russian Fascist Party, Manchuria, 1934. I always wash my kitty with fragrant soap, postcard, 1920s. During Prohibition, the Chicago police dumped tons of corn whiskey after raiding an illegal distillery. Kenyan President Daniel Arap Moi burns 12 tons of ivory confiscated from poachers. Kenya, 1989. While on the North African front of World War II, German tankers developed a tradition of driving over piles of camel dung for luck. Seeing this, the British made anti-tank mines disguised as these piles. After several mines exploded, the Germans started avoiding untouched piles of dung. The British then made mines that looked like piles of dung, with tracks of tanks having already driven over them. Collapse of a grandstand during the Indianapolis 500 race, USA, 1960. Coin-operated shaving machine, USA, 1940. Tokyo citizens mourn the death of Hachiko, 1935. The loyal dog waited for his owner at the station every day, even after his passing. Whether you felt happy, annoyed, or just entertained, drop a comment and tell me why. Keep an eye out for the sequel. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel. See ya.